Chapter 1. Liam's Dream. Meet Liam. Liam Papadopoulos was a 17-year-old boy who lived in a small village by the sea. He was tall, about 180 centimeters, with dark brown hair that always seemed messy, no matter how much he tried to fix it. His hazel eyes were bright and full of curiosity, always looking for something new to learn or discover. Liam's skin was tanned from spending so much time under the sun, helping his family with their fishing work. He wore simple clothes, a white shirt, blue jeans, and old leather sandals. Even though his clothes were plain, he wore them proudly because they reminded him of his hard-working family. Liam was quiet but kind. He loved to help people, and everyone in the village knew they could count on him. He was also a dreamer. Liam had big dreams, even though his life was simple. Liam's family was small but close. They lived in a little white house on a hill, overlooking the blue sea. His mother, Maria was a strong and loving woman. She worked hard every day to take care of her family. She had black hair with streaks of silver, tied back in a neat bun. Her hands were rough from years of work, but her smile was warm and comforting. His younger brother, Nico was 12 years old. He had curly hair and bright green eyes that sparkled with mischief. Nico loved to play and make jokes, but he also admired Liam and wanted to be just like him. His grandfather, Thanos was an old fisherman. He had a loud voice and a big laugh. Every evening, he would sit by the fire and tell stories about the sea. Liam loved listening to these stories because they made him dream of adventures far away, a normal day. Liam's day always started early. Before the sun rose, he helped his mother bake bread to sell at the market. After that, he went to school, where he was one of the best students. Liam loved to draw. He carried a small notebook where he sketched everything he saw: the old temple ruins near the village, the fishing boats, and even the little birds that flew around his house. His teacher, Miss Eleni, noticed his talent. One day she said to him, "Liam, you should think about studying architecture. You have a gift for design." Liam smiled but said nothing. He liked the idea, but it felt impossible. How could a boy from a small village go to a big city like Paris to study? The dream grows. After school, Liam often sat by the beach. The waves crashing on the rocks helped him think. One day, as he sketched the ruins of the old temple, he started to dream. What if I could build something like this one day? He thought. He imagined creating buildings that would last for centuries, just like the ancient temple. But his dream seemed so far away. His family didn't have much money, and he didn't even know how to start. Still, Liam couldn't stop thinking about it, sharing the dream. One evening, Liam decided to tell his family. They were sitting together at the dinner table, eating fresh fish and bread. "I want to study architecture," Liam said. His voice was quiet, but his eyes were full of determination. His mother looked surprised. "Architecture? In the city?" she asked. "Yes," Liam said. "Miss Eleni says I have talent. I want to try." Maria sighed. "It's a big dream, Liam. We don't have much money. How will you go to Paris?" Grandfather Thanos laughed loudly. "The boy has a dream, Maria. Let him try. Where there is a will, there is a way." Nico jumped up from his seat. "I'll help, Liam. I'll sell my paintings at the market and save the money for you." Liam smiled at his little brother. "Thank you, Nico," he said. Though there were many problems to solve, Liam felt happy. His family believed in him, and that gave him hope. A new beginning. That night, Liam sat by the window in his room, looking at the stars. He knew the road to Paris would be hard, but he felt ready. He promised himself he would never give up, no matter how many challenges came his way. "I will make this dream come true," he whispered to himself. And with that, Liam's journey began. This simplified version uses common words and straightforward sentences to make it accessible for A2 level English learners. Let me know if you'd like me to adjust or expand any part further.
Chapter 2. A Plan for Paris. The Challenge. Liam woke up the next morning with excitement in his heart. He could still hear his grandfather's words from the night before. "Where there is a will, there is a way." But as the day began, so did his worries. The biggest problem was money. His family worked hard every day, but they only earned enough to survive. How could they afford to send him to Paris? The thought made Liam feel small. Still, He refused to give up. If I want this dream, I need a plan, Liam said to himself. A talk with Miss Eleni. At school, Liam decided to talk to Miss Eleni about his idea. She was sitting at her desk, grading papers, when Liam walked in. Miss Eleni, can I ask you something? He said. Of course, Liam, she replied, looking up with a kind smile. What's on your mind? I want to study architecture in Paris, but I don't know how to start, Liam admitted. Miss Eleni thought for a moment. Well, first, you'll need to prepare. You should improve your drawing skills and learn more about famous buildings. Second, you'll need a scholarship that will help cover your costs. A scholarship? Liam asked, his eyes widening. Yes, she said. There are programs for talented students like you. I can help you apply. Liam felt a spark of hope. He thanked Miss Eleni and promised to work harder than ever. Small steps. After school, Liam began to take action. He spent hours drawing in his notebook, practicing every line in detail. He also went to the village library to read about architecture. Books about the Eiffel Tower, Notre Dame, and ancient castles filled his mind with inspiration. But Liam knew he needed more than just knowledge. He needed money, too.
Working harder. Liam started helping his mother at the market every weekend. He sold bread, fish, and handmade crafts. He also took small jobs around the village, painting fences, cleaning boats, and even fixing old roofs. His little brother, Nico, helped as much as he could. Nico painted small pictures of the sea and sold them to tourists. Every coin counts, Liam, Nico said proudly, handing him a jar filled with coins. Even though the work was tiring, Liam didn't mind. Each coin brought him closer to his dream. Support from the village. The villagers began to notice Liam's determination. One day, Mrs. Katerina, an old woman who owned a small cafe, called Liam over. Liam, I hear you want to study in Paris, she said. Yes, ma'am, Liam replied shyly. She smiled and handed him a small envelope. This is for you. It's not much, but I believe in you. Liam opened the envelope and found 20 euros inside. His heart filled with gratitude. Thank you, Mrs. Katerina, he said. Word spread quickly, and soon other villagers began to help, too. Some gave small donations, while others offered him extra work. Doubts and encouragement. Despite the support, there were moments when Liam felt overwhelmed. Late at night, he would sit by the window and wonder if he was chasing an impossible dream. One night, his grandfather noticed him sitting alone. What's wrong, boy? Grandfather Thanos asked, sitting beside him. I'm scared, Liam admitted. What if I fail? Thanos put a hand on Liam's shoulder. Failing is not the worst thing, Liam. Not trying is. His grandfather's words stayed with him. From that moment, Liam decided to push through his doubts and keep going. An unexpected opportunity. A few weeks later, Miss Eleni called Liam to her desk after class. She had exciting news. Liam, there's a national competition for young artists. The winner gets a scholarship to study in Paris, she said. Liam's eyes widened. Really? Do you think I have a chance? I know you do, Miss Eleni said firmly. But you'll need to submit your best work. The competition required participants to design a building inspired by their hometown. Liam's mind began to race with ideas. He thought about the old temple ruins, the fishing boats, and the hills covered in olive trees. The design. That evening, Liam sat at his desk with a blank sheet of paper in front of him. He wanted his design to tell a story about his village, his family, and his dreams. He began by sketching a lighthouse, tall and strong, standing by the sea. Around it, he drew small houses like the ones in his village, connected by winding paths. In the center, he added a large open space, like a square where people could gather and share stories. As he worked, Nico watched him from the corner of the room. "That's amazing, Liam," Nico said. "Thank you, Nico," Liam replied with a smile. A deadline approaches. The competition deadline was only 2 weeks away. Liam spent every spare moment working on his design. He made sure every line was perfect, every detail carefully thought out. His family supported him in every way they could. His mother made sure he had food and tea while he worked late into the night. Nico kept the house quiet so Liam could focus. Even grandfather Thanos stopped telling his long stories to give Liam more time. The submission. On the final day, Liam finished his design. It was the best work he had ever done. Miss Eleni helped him send it to the competition organizers. As he walked home that evening, Liam felt a mix of emotions: pride, hope, and fear. He knew the competition would be tough, but he also knew he had given it his all. And now, all he could do was wait.
Chapter 3. Waiting and Wondering. The Long Wait. The days after Liam submitted his design felt like the longest of his life. Every morning he woke up hoping for a letter or a phone call, but nothing came. At first, Liam kept busy by helping at the market and practicing his drawing skills. But as the days turned into weeks, doubt started to creep in. What if my design wasn't good enough? Liam thought. What if I don't win? His little brother Nico tried to cheer him up. "You'll win, Liam," he said confidently. "Your design is the best." Liam smiled at Nico's words, but the worry stayed in his heart. The village's support. One afternoon, Liam was helping his mother sell bread at the market when Mrs. Katerina called him over. "Any news, Liam?" she asked kindly. "Not yet," Liam replied, shaking his head. She patted his shoulder. "Good things take time. You'll see." The other villagers also encouraged him. Old Mr. Stavros, who always sat by the harbor fixing fishing nets, told Liam, "Patience is like fishing, boy. You wait and wait, but when the big fish comes, it's worth it." Their words gave Liam strength, but the waiting was still hard. A special surprise. One evening, as Liam was walking home, he saw his grandfather sitting by the fire. Grandfather Thanos was holding an old, dusty book in his hands. "What's that, Grandpa?" Liam asked. "This," Thanos said, "is a book about ancient Greek architects. I used to read it when I was your age." He handed the book to Liam. The pages were yellowed with age, but the drawings and stories inside were fascinating. Liam spent the next few nights reading about people who had built amazing things with very little. It inspired him to keep believing in his own abilities.
A letter arrives. 2 weeks later, while Liam was helping his mother bake bread, there was a knock at the door. Nico ran to answer it and came back holding a large envelope. "It's for you, Liam," Nico shouted, waving the envelope in the air. Liam's hands trembled as he opened it. Inside was a letter and a certificate. He read the first line out loud. "Congratulations, Liam Konstantinos. You have been selected as a finalist in the National Youth Architecture Competition." The room erupted in cheers. His mother hugged him tightly, and Nico jumped up and down. The room erupted in cheers. His mother hugged him tightly, and Nico jumped up and down. Even grandfather Thanos, who rarely showed emotion, clapped his hands. Preparing for the finals. The letter explained that the finalists were invited to Athens for the final round of the competition. They would present their designs to a panel of judges and answer questions. Liam felt a mix of excitement and nerves. He had never been to Athens before. The thought of standing in front of important judges made his stomach twist, but he knew he had to try. Miss Eleni helped Liam practice for his presentation. She asked him questions about his design and gave him tips on how to speak clearly. "Remember, Liam," she said, "you're not just presenting a design. You're telling a story about your home and your dreams." The journey to Athens. The day of the trip arrived, and the entire village came to see Liam off. Mrs. Katerina handed him a bag of homemade cookies. Mr. Stavros gave him a small wooden charm for good luck. "Make us proud, Liam," someone shouted as he boarded the bus. The journey to Athens was long, but Liam couldn't stop staring out the window. The mountains, rivers, and villages they passed made him think about how big the world was and how small his village seemed in comparison. When they arrived in Athens, Liam's eyes widened. The city was full of tall buildings, busy streets, and bright lights. It was nothing like his quiet little village. The competition hall. The next morning, Liam walked into the competition hall. It was a grand building with high ceilings and marble floors. Other finalists were already there, each holding their designs. Liam felt nervous as he looked around. Everyone seemed older and more confident. Some of their designs were so detailed and professional that Liam began to doubt himself. "Stay calm," he whispered to himself. "You've worked hard for this." When it was his turn to present, Liam walked to the front of the room. He placed his design on an easel and took a deep breath. Telling his story, Liam began by explaining the inspiration behind his design. He spoke about his village, the lighthouse, the fishing boats, and the olive trees. He talked about how he wanted his building to bring people together, just like his village did. The judges listened carefully, nodding as he spoke. They asked him questions about the materials he would use and how the building could be sustainable. Liam answered as best as he could. He didn't know all the technical terms, but he spoke with passion and honesty. When he finished, the judges thanked him, and Liam returned to his seat, feeling a mix of relief and uncertainty. A moment of reflection. That evening, Liam sat on a bench outside the competition hall, looking up at the stars. He thought about everything that had brought him to this moment, the hard work, the support from his family and village, and his own determination. No matter what happened next, Liam knew he had already achieved something incredible. He had taken a step toward his dream, and that was something to be proud of.